All right. Let's get going here. Okay, actually, let's save. I'm going to assume my webcomic. I'm going to assume my IG story posted because it won't let me check. So we're just going to cross our fingers and hope. Don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it just pukes all over the place. So today, let's see. I've got my rough draft on my notebook over here. It's a 2, 3, and a 1, but the 1 is going to be a seamless swipe, so I'm guesstimating about this much space. And let's go here. And first of all, I want to show, I'm going to do probably a reel later today about this, but so I've been working on, these are my pin files that I send to my manufacturer so they can do mock-ups and quote, whatever. The only thing I haven't changed to each design are the color picking, and that's what the most time-consuming part is for me. I can't remember. I want to say that open swatch library. Yeah, I think here's color books. Pantone solid coated. We still have those color books. I guess I can do it this way, but I honestly, whatever, I don't. I mean, I could just pick. I don't know. I think my method works pretty darn good, actually, but on that. What I do is I take a screenshot and I go to Pantone matching system from image, and so I just upload that little screenshot and it generates possible matches, and I pick from those possible matches. This one is the only one that's still accurate, I believe, is the 486C. It's kind of the salmon pink. Everything else, well, except for the white C, those are, of course, accurate. But what I also try to do is I try to keep some colors the same. So like often in a set, and it doesn't look like I will, well, I could. So like the green here, I can definitely use the same there. My pinks, my reds, I've got a couple different reds. I like the more cherry red here for the strawberry versus this is a little bit more on the warm side, so like a fire engine red right here, and then of course I've got the salmon pink on the tongue. I thought I could delete a extra color and just make this the same as the tongue, but then I was like, I get 5 colors for free, why not use them? So that is what I'm doing there. And then here I made a last minute decision to make this blue glitter. I think that'll be really fun, and it'll kind of it'll give this design, which is really 3 colors, a little bit something more special. So that'll be nice. And then I might have to eliminate one of these depending on cost, but I'm not doing a new coin this year, so those are a little bit more expensive to produce. So I'm figuring if I think I did about four new designs, enamel pin designs last year. So if I don't do coins, I could maybe get away with all of these. But I'm going to see. I'm going to let the cost decide. I'd really love to make them all. But I had kind of gotten carried away with all of my designs. And I forgot I had made the, I actually hadn't, no, I did update, I just didn't update the screen. I just didn't update this title. So what happened yesterday was I had this kind of template with the title, the details, 5 colors, all of that. I had it in a document that I made last year, but that document I made last year was apparently in a daily, it was in a daily, so I could not find it. I had these final files that I'd sent to my manufacturer. I had the actual art files, and then I was like, where the heck is this thing? Because I had apparently exported from this daily and renamed all those export files, and so I was looking for the exported file name. Of course, it wasn't coming up because it didn't exist. So at the very end of it, after a lot of frustration, I was like, okay, let me just look at the date. And I went by the date of the export, went back through my file system and found the other files I was working on that date, and sure enough, there it was in the daily, and I was just like, you bonehead. So, but I'm gonna make, well, I've got it right here, and I resaved that old file where it should be, as it should be. But I'm gonna make a blank with just a space for art, a highlight of the Pantones, a list of the Pantones, details, title, backstamp. Why don't I just go ahead and do that now? And I'm just gonna go like that, and we're gonna make it look all pretty. Oh, nice. There we go. And let's see. Oh no, this is just redundant for me because I know what it's going to be. Lines. Up. And this will go eventually in my product folder. I'm going to put Manu. So now I will never lose it. But yeah, so that took a good amount of time yesterday. Super frustrating. And so I was finishing this up this morning, and the last thing I need to do is go in here, pick my Pantones, and usually it goes really fast, and it will on some of these items that are taking the same colors. But honestly, I don't have a lot of the same colors in this design. I can probably get these browns to be the same. Not this one. Definitely not the Momo brown, but whatever. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and it's gonna be cool. And I changed this to blue, and I'm still not quite certain about it, but I feel like this little half-eaten donut doesn't stand out enough as it is. So I'm gonna probably go in and change that to match the line art there. There aren't any other big changes I did except for deciding on the blue glitter here. And I have seen a glitter swatch, but I'm just gonna let them match and do what they do best, and give me the options, and I'll say, okay, let's do this blue glitter right here, pick the Pantone on it. At any rate, so that's what I was working on yesterday. I'll be finishing that up today, and today we're gonna do Frisbee. What's my point size here? We've got one. I'm struggling with my darn throat again. So I took another Mucinex, which is great. It'll probably start kicking in about 30 or so minutes. I feel fine otherwise, but I think I'm gonna have to go, if I can't do a doc call-in thing, I might have to go in, but I feel like I might need a inhaler just to open up my lungs. so I can actually get some of this junk out. But I can exercise mine, and I'd say it may be 70, 75, no, I would say more like 85, 90%, just a smidge on the underside. It's just enough to be frustrating. Alright, I'm going to have these a little bit bigger, and I'm going to center them, bring this up a tiny bit, and we're going to bring this down enough that I can get a third row in here. And let's select these guys, equidistant, thank you, group. Let's get out of that group, let's shrink you down. And let's move you up right here. And then our final is going to be, and I want to put this just for my reference here. I'm going to do D to make it default. This is a guide I'm going to use, because I want this panel to be a seamless swipe on Instagram, so I need 2 squares to fit into this length. And so let's bring this down. So that's the base of my square, and then I'm going to give it a little extra for my info at the bottom. So I figured on this one, I might have to bring that down a little bit. And then, of course, this is going to be a little bit of a parody version of that's displacement. They're going to be popping out everywhere because she shakes the marshmallow bag. Kind of like when you shake the treat bag. And then she's going to be making crispy treats. And I've got to figure out the... I want to... So originally I had marshmallows, crispy treats here, and then pouring into the pan here. And then I decided I wanted to edit that sequence and have, maybe I'll have, maybe I'll move this over and have GB here. And she'll be pouring in the marshmallows, and Boop will have the Crispies right here. I could solve a lot of problems by making this pot smaller. Ooh, there we go. Give more room for my actual characters. So there's that. So she's doing that, and then we've got the Crispies, and then we're gonna have a pan. this over here. And I'm going to have the floof. Going to be one of the baby. This one's going to have 2 marshmallows. And then she's going to kind of the same. She's going to give maybe he's gonna do a maybe he's gonna do a he's gonna be maybe considering it. Maybe she'll be giving a treat to this one. This one's gonna be like, And then at the end, hey Sharon, happy Thursday to you too. I'm gonna have brunch. We're gonna be absolutely loving. Maybe I'll have a taller one in here and a small one over here. And I'll figure out their expressions. Like that I had. Oh, I did. I wanted to have the Now this one has 2 little crispy treats. He's gonna be like, oh my god. I hope you're having a good Thursday. Got a pretty okay one here. It's gotten warm again, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever you're. It's kind of warm and humid and kind of icky, but it's kind of gotten to that time of year where it's beautiful outside. The sky is blue and it looks so wonderful, but you walk outside and it's like your face is being wrapped in a very warm, wet towel and you can't breathe. So it kills any desire to be outside unless you have a source of movement from a fan or something along those lines. For a short week, it's a long one. Oh, that's right, because Monday. Yeah, it's kind of been a weird one in that way. I feel that. Like Monday felt like it should have been a Sunday, and it was just kind of a little weird. we've been super humid and cool, but yay for rain. Yeah, we got some of that yesterday. Heat coming this weekend, so that warm, wet blanket feeling coming my way. I hope you survive. I hope it's not as wicked as it is here. If you have a little more luck with it. But yeah, it's like, you know, I see the sun and I see the bright blue sky and just a touch of clouds. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna go run today. I'm gonna do all of this. And then I go and let Pete outside and I'm just like, yeah, nah. I'm gonna die before I get, you know, half a mile. And that half mile, actually that whole mile it's a rough one because it's to get to the park I have to go about a mile along the street, so you've got that heat, radiating heat from the concrete, and so it's kind of an early morning or dusk type deal when we've got that kind of, usually in the evening we get a wind blowing through, it takes out some of the humidity, but yeah, sometimes it's just, and I've tried it. I've been like, okay, you know, throw caution to the wind and just do it. And it was not good. I did that once and the regret was intense and I had no way to get home out of it. I had to go cut through areas where I saw shadow and shade. It was like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and yeah, never again. It's a time of year to get all the outside things done early. Yes, a number of the streets I walk along to and from work got replaced with blacktop. Oh no, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, that happened on my street growing up, but it was like, I'm glad, because the previous street was a hazard, because if you crashed your bike on it or tripped or did anything, your whatever landed was toast, because it was that pebble concrete that has all the little rocks in it, and so you would get rocks and stuff embedded into your skin. And they replaced it with blacktop, but it was nice and smooth, and I was just like, it was hotter, it was not as fun that way, but also if you fell, it wasn't like the end of your arm or the end of your face. Yeah. But hopefully there's a lot of shade on your walk-in that can help mitigate some of that. I have to change it to C crispy because I don't know if I could technically use the K crispy. I think probably Kellogg's Rice Krispie Treats or whatever is it Kellogg's? I think they probably have that patented, especially the Rice Krispie Treats. So I know they probably won't come after me, but I just want to be safe. There's some shade, thankfully, in the occasional sprinkler. Yes. There was one year I was walking and we got a sudden rain shower, and it was the best because sometimes the rain showers are just great. I'm now super ultra saturated and it's still humid and nasty. This one actually blew in a nice little cool front, and the rain was cool, and it was just so refreshing, and that made that run in the rain quite enjoyable. But it's not really one that I've had a repeat of, unfortunately. I would like a repeat of that one. It was nice. But yeah, I'd make a detour for sprinklers too. Why risk the wrath of the companies? All right, here we go. I've got my layout here. I think I'm going to need to get out my extra fan. I used to put it up over here to have the cross breeze. I just have my regular one down here, but I'm feeling it. And I even have my heat screen on my window. I think I need to make this a little bit. Let's bring this over here like this. There we go. Or not, that doesn't look like the right angle. So I started, I really like the side of this. We end up getting some blackout curtains that not only block out light but also heat. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I've got that pretty much in my my bedroom. And it's you walk in there and there's a marked difference of the temperature. It's kind of like a cold, dark cave. But in my office, I really like to work with light, so I opted for these. I opted kind of for the best mix that would filter out the light but also help with the heat. But unfortunately, it's just, if I want light, I can't have the blockage, so I've got to kind of go in between. And I want the light. I can't have, you know, some heat is going to get through because the light needs to get through, and I don't have that good of circulation in here, so I have to deal with a little bit toastiness if I want to have some uplifting sunshine. It's alright. It's a fair trade. Catherine, hello! Welcome to the stream. So fans are a must, yes. I have this cute little one that's like a pillar. It's probably about this big, and he just oscillates like this. And he moves enough. I have to keep him close if I actually want to feel it, but he moves enough that if I put him over here right beneath the window, I get a good cross breeze. And but yeah, fans are really a must. I started watching, there's kind of a gap in interesting cooking shows right now. One of my favorites was the Wild Card Kitchen, where they're like betting for their, you know, how they're betting their money, and they get these wild cards that they have to deal with and cook against other, like, their friends. But what I'm watching now is the Cutthroat Kitchen. And I feel like, I mean, it was fun, but I feel like it was just a bridge too far, just a little bit, because, I mean, I can imagine some of those, you know, like in Chopped, or which is just like, you know, the wacky ingredients, or, you know, Guy's Grocery Games, those little things, like you have to only do a certain budget or a certain number of items or a certain poundage of items. Those limitations, I think, are kind of fun to think around. But the Cutthroat Kitchen was like, you can only use skewers to cut your, you know, your food up, or you have only a coffee pot and a one spot in an oven if you get there close, you know, early enough as your heat source. And I'm just like, you know, I'm not sure that, you know, a lot of contestants would really opt to do those and participate in those. It just seems like torture. And then you can have your fellow contestants can buy additional kind of revenge moves and stuff like that. I mean, it's interesting to watch. I'm like, God, that would suck. That would really be frustrating to cook on that show. I don't know. I'll keep on going with it, but I was just like, this is just really kind of, I'm trying to figure out what to compare it to. Be able to tell they're marshmallows, so I'm gonna kind of scooch over here and select all of this. All right. GGG is one of my favorite food competition shows. The original Iron Chef always, oh yes, always. Fukui-san, yes. I think we were discussing that not long ago. There's some channel that has the original Iron Chef episodes on still. And I was looking it up, and I was like, ooh, there they are. Yeah, same. I think I had tapes or recordings of them at one point. I feel like you do learn some stuff through those cooking shows because you kind of see some of the consistent rules. They, like, you know, if they under season things, it's usually lack of salt, or they're throwing in acid. They're, kind of showing some of those basic rules of cooking, like, textures and considering that, and garnish, and, color variety in a dish, and in presentation at the end. I mean, I've learned some things on that. Not saying that I, really use them, but it's, I don't know. It's fun and interesting because I feel like I do learn something. We have an extra big doorway that is a little bit lined up improperly here. I don't want to have a bad tangent. I think that'll be about right. Bring this down. And then, of course, I'll erase. Point size at 16. Bake. Shake, 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 shake. All right, let's get some text in here. I wonder. Come on. I can keep that in the center. Let's draw some. And for whatever reason, I did not include round in this. It's okay. We'll fix it in a minute. This is a, yeah, let's bring that down a little bit. Cool. right, now let's take our speech bubble here and do my tail. Oops. And select shade. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Boop. And we're good. Need to get rid of this. Although I'm not going to get rid of it in I will in a minute. Not at this moment, because I'm going to duplicate this section and just edit. I mean, I'm going to redraw a lot, but I want the frame here, the floofs here are just going to be filled in, and she's going to say just as planned. So I don't want to erase everything yet, but I do want to get that ground into the group where it should be. And let's give this. And since we're gonna just, whoops. Oh, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay. I just want to make sure that this line is even all the way across. Boop. All right. Good, good, good. All right, so I'm going to keep that. Shake, shake, shake. And take this and let's move this over. And then here. And she's going to be holding on to the marshmallows, but floofs are going to be popped all around. So let's, how do I want to do this? Because I have that grouped. Let's take this out. And I fit just as planned. Maybe I just have her, you know, doing that. I'm going to keep that up there. Let's, how do we want to do this? I'm going to grab, this is probably going to be more trouble than just using that selection tool would have been. But I do now have, whoops, let's get rid of that. Oh, hey, group. And I'm going to make her a little smaller. Maybe I should also make her a little smaller over here, but make this all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. A little bit longer than the bottom. Sound effects make all the difference. You're not making sound effects while you're drawing. What are you doing? Alright, so let's get this fixed. Well, no, she's going to be standing in front of it, but that's a bad tangent, so just complete that one for now. And I'm going to go down to 30%. I think I'll redraw her completely, almost. And then around, and draw the face around her. So I'll either do just as planned or, oh my, something like, well, that answers that, or something along those lines. All right, here we go. Just going to be tipped up a little more. She'll say, well, that worked incredibly well. I need to go get something at the door. Just a second, I'll be right back. All right. Coconut will be happy. Her food has been rescued from the sun and is no longer baking. And I took the opportunity to go grab a hair clip because I've been fussing with my hair too much, so it's time to put it away. So I think my new, I feel bad, but so the vet kind of fussed at her, well, fussed at me because I'm the one that feeds her, because she needs to drop a few ounces. And so I stopped. I used to give her double cups, like a cup in the morning and a cup in the evening, and she'd kind of graze throughout the day. And so I just stopped the evening cup, and it seems like she's doing a lot better. And she did have some sort of I was really worried about her because one morning she got up and it was like she was limping. But she shook it off very quickly, but I could tell that she was not feeling good because she didn't move about for that day and a little bit after. So I'm guessing she had a bad fall or a missed jump and hurt her shoulder or a paw. And so she wasn't eating much that day, and that I think contributed a little bit. So she lost a little bit with that, but then I stopped feeding her that second cup, and I think that she's jumping a lot stronger now and is a lot more confident in her jumps, and I feel like she's lost a little bit. So I think that was a good plan. But I also she loves the gravy lovers, and it's not the best of the food, but if I'm only feeding her 1 cup a day, she gets to keep her favorite stuff. But yeah, I was really worried about her, and I was this close to taking her in, but just little by little, she started kind of bouncing back, and she got, especially her confidence in jumps back, and she's landing a lot softer. It's not like she's miscalculating and shorting the jump. She is overdoing the jump, but she's jumping up and landing a lot lighter now. So I think that was good. But yeah, she's sleeping right over here now. She knows I'm talking about her. He says, leave me alone. I'm sleeping. It's 3 a.m. Huxley's doing really well too. He was put on a special diet, the Hills prescription diet for it's the kidney one. It's because they're kind of seeing some elevation in his blood work, and they want to start him on some preventative, kind of dietary dietary kind of stuff for now, instead of putting him on medication and stuff. And he's doing really well too. He's picked up a few ounces, I feel, and he is more playful, more feisty, and they're running around and playing a lot now again too. So all good news on that front. And even better so, because that special food is for like senior cats, and it's designed to make them want to eat and drink more, and so Coconut of course can't have it. And but we've managed to kind of clandestinely feed Tuxie so she isn't aware of it at least until it's time to throw the remainders or whatever, the little scraps away, because she smells it and then she goes into like, where is it, I want it mode. But so far we've been able to keep her away from it so she doesn't kind of bully in, because she does that. She'll nudge him away from a bowl or a cup of treats or something. I think I like that better where it was. Yeah. Alright, and she needs to be holding on to this kind of that. And let's do swoop. Nope, swoop. There we go. So let's see, I want to have her kind of, let's just do don't need a paw that big. And like that, and this. And let me grab this rough sketch and bring that down. So yeah, lots of good news on the cheetah front. Really relieved, especially about that jump or whatever it was. And I even went to the ring footage and tried to see, because I could see where she was in the little bed where she got up from when was limping from it, but I couldn't see, there was no evidence on the footage of her missing something, or I mean, the camera didn't even pick up her getting into the bed. So, but she was there, and I, could pick up, see her walking out of it and kind of tender on one paw. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't capture whatever it was she did, but thankfully it wasn't something that lasted very long. Oops! I need to do that. Another thing I've been working on is uploading lots of backlog comics to Webtoon. And I got my first Webtoon subscriber. I've got 20 episodes up, and it's all like old stuff. I think I'm up to 2012 maybe in the archive, and what takes so long with those previous comics is I don't have featured images of them. I just have the comics themselves. And so if I don't want to go back into all those old files and resave and do all of that, I've just been doing screen caps of the actual file and then using that as the thumbnail. So I had to do that, and but I should be close to through with that, because as soon as I get towards like 15, 16, 17-ish, I started doing those featured images, so it'll really just be, a lot faster uploading. I'm trying to do 10 episodes at a time. And I got pulled into a new webcomic on Webtoon, which it's so cute though. It's totally a Bridgerton ripoff, but probably not like this spicy stuff. But I saw an ad for it on Instagram, and Mrs. Pendleton, she's a matchmaker in is it Regency? I don't know what time period. It's similar time period as Bridgerton. And it's really well drawn and really cute, but I don't I want to read more, but I really don't want to buy coins, and I guess I'll have to be patient. But it's cute. this is kind of a, this bag is probably a little bit more, there we go. About the same size. Let's draw that in there. Alright, now let's pop back out, and I've got a lot of lines I need to erase. So let's get working on that. Wanderlust, hello! Welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. How are you doing? I hope well. Doing pretty well too, thank you. Trying to struggle through the cold Texas summer heat. That's alright. We got AC. We got shade. I got fans. Oh, I made iced tea this weekend. It was really super good. It was, I think it was Republic of Tea, the strawberry basil. And I just did my little electric tea kettle. I did a full thing of that, and then I think I steeped too many bags. I think you're supposed to, but I put a ton of ice in it and it worked out well. I probably should have cut the entire container into 2, but I think I could probably make another batch somehow. But it was really good. I have a little glass jar with a spigot that fits just inside the fridge. And it was really nice to be able to go in there and get some very cold iced tea. Yeah, there are a couple other flavors I have. There's a hibiscus one. But yeah, the strawberry basil really sounded great. And I watched it to make sure. I did my 8-cup like mixing bowl thing, Pyrex glass jar with the boiling water, and then I steeped the things in that instead of doing like a boiling pot. All right, it's time to draw. Can I? Ah, yes, that'll fit. I just need to switch. So I have now, I've got floofs everywhere. So I've got a foreground floof that's going to be like you rang. That. Oh, here we go. Nope. Ooh. Better. Alright, and then I'm going to have little floofs peeking out over here. Boop, boop. I'm going to make my point size a little smaller here. And zooming in. Oh, nope. There we go. Nope. Oh, nope. Oh, your ears are so imbalanced. Good grief, little floof. What's going on here? Alright, let's add another one in here. Let's do a wee one. This little bit needs to be smaller. Yeah, we definitely need to get bigger for the foreground floof. There we go. And now I can erase my guide. And now I just need to edit my little... Most of it's okay. I'm just gonna come in here. I gotta delete that because I've got to readjust. But let's come in here. And I'm gonna move this piece over so I can contain my entire bit of dialogue. Let's move this little guy over. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spin to win on this guy again. Let's just bring him over here. Delete you, move you over, and select you, and make you a little longer. There we are. And let's do the same thing with this guy. There we are. And that's looking pretty good. So now I'm gonna do my tail right here. And let's do my little trick. I've got my dialog box adjusted. And now I can move this forward and group it with my liner, and then I'll come into this group and let's erase this top so my dialog box can float. Same thing over here. Group with my line art. And let's erase my overlap. There we go. Alright, so now I can move this out. And let's bring down the rest of these guys. 30%. So now I get to do the baking. Well, not much baking, it's just kind of throwing it together and warming it up for the Rice Krispie treats, but that should be a fun little... I've got them crispy treat box, I've got the marshmallows going into the pot, and then I have the mixture going into the pan, and then she's giving them the squares. I originally had this broken out into 2 different frames, but then I thought, well, I'd rather have the floofs give them a moment of, you know, suspicion, like what is this new thing that took all my marshmallows away. And then I have the final, they're crunching and munching on the new crispy treats, and they're loving them. Oh, but I did forget, I had my rough draft of the, there we go, I can get rid of that. And what I'm gonna do is I'll have, well, I'll probably have to break the floof group apart and put these floofs that are behind the doorway, I'm gonna actually drop them out of that big group. Because what I will do is I will just push these guys to the front, so they're a layer on top of all of the other parts in this, so I don't have to erase anything in the background. Yeah, that'll clean it up nicely, I think. So let's save. I'm glad you like it, Sharon. It's a fun one. Because they love marshmallows. But do they like crispy treats? How can you not like crispy treats? I think that's one of the first things, that and cookies. Just regular chocolate chip cookies are one of the first things I learned to bake. And then the first major thing that I consider is a little bit step above cookies was a German chocolate cake. And my favorite part of that was separating the eggs. I just thought that was so fun. I think I'm gonna break apart this counter a little bit and put a spot, because I want the stove to be right here and counter to be right here, but I'm gonna need to... Do I need to? Because I mean, there are some stoves that are flush these days with the counter. Yeah, just roll with it. And bringing the pot over here is also going to give me more room, so that'll be great. Just draw as I can. Okay. There we go. Much better. And now we'll just bring that over. Go. Suggestion, probably more than a little suggestion of the edge of this pot. Now let's bring it down to actually sit on a burner here. I think I'm going to fill this in. I'm messing it all up here. just enough of a suggestion to show that's like a raised griddle type deal, which is completely misaligned with this one, which means I need to drag this up. So. I think I'm going to have Boop sitting on top of the ease box. Smaller. Yes. Or do we want to do Christmas? I think the actual spelling is ease. Okay. Okie dokie. Except I need to have this trending a bit to not look completely ridiculous. Up. Up. Let's see how this will work. Everybody move! Oh, it's alright. And let's add some ropes over here, like it's... I don't know. I don't know if I'll keep that. That looks kind of weird. That doesn't look very artistic. Let's get rid of those. All right. What is my education background? It is, well, initially it was biology, biochem, and then I decided I didn't like that, and I went into graphic design with kind of like a eventual concentration in animation, and then design and communication, and then all of my art stuff is really self-taught. So that came from really started when I was really took an interest in Japanese design when I was taking my Japanese language courses, and then of course, you know, ever since I was little I loved animation, so I've always kind of had that and been interested in that and looking into that, and drawing, writing. Well, that's part of it too. I mean, I would come home from school and write every day. Gosh, I started writing once I figured out I could. I think it was around 2nd or 3rd grade, maybe I was 9 or 10. And I initially had this little binder and I would handwrite my stories. And then we got, I started using Word in the computer, and I think I got, really embarrassing, but I wrote like it was 50 plus pages of a Fern Gully fanfic when I was like 12. So that kind of is part of the education process. Hey Dee, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. I started picking up Illustrator because I was wanting to make advertisements, and well, first of all, I had to learn it to make my vector files for t-shirt designs, and then at that point in time, to send advertisements into a magazine, it had to be a TIFF file or an Illustrator file. Yeah, it was a TIFF file. It was pretty common, but those were like, and you know, talking about those file sizes today, it seems like nothing, but it was like a 50 megabyte file or more, and it would take literally 30 to 40 minutes to upload over my over our connection. And so I was like, okay, well, if I send in, you know, an Illustrator file that's phenomenally smaller, you know, in comparison, and it takes a lot less time. It took like 10 to 15 minutes. And so I started learning Illustrator so I could make all of those advertisement files in that, as opposed to using these massive TIFF files. Just nowadays, it's all PDFs, and it really doesn't matter how big the files are. That's how that started. And then I kind of continued because it's a lot easier to use and vector files over a lot of different kind of endpoints, products, as opposed to, you know, you just draw it once and you can kind of use it wherever you want because it's based on math and it's, you know, independent of size, whereas you've got something in Photoshop, it's a raster, and you kind of have to start off with thinking, okay, well, I may eventually want to make this a 9x12 print, so I have to make it this big. And then that also, another thing that started me on Illustrator was the pull on the computer system that Photoshop would do. Illustrator was a lot lighter and a lot easier to run, and so that's why I use that quite a bit more than Photoshop. Let's get over here and start drawing Granny Bear. Kind of, let's see. Oh, can you fit? Oh, it's a little bit too small. Let's make you smaller. And let's make you, well, that just almost. I need to adjust this a little bit, I think. I need to make her bigger. Better. That's one of my kind of character design checkpoints, to keep proportions. Right now, floofs are they're really sized. They vary all over the place. Like within a single comic, if I'm dealing with one or two floofs, I'll try to keep an eye on their size proportionality to each other and the other characters and keep that consistent. But as far as Granny Bear and Boop goes, Lady Boop always is able to fit between Granny Bear's ears, so she can ride on top of her head and when they go places. So that's how I keep the proportion right there. I just always kind of keep an eye on that, and I drag her over if I need to. There we go. I don't feel like her face is quite right. It's a little bit bigger. Caption says animate was unsure with. Oh shoot! I forgot to update my title, didn't I? Whoops. Alright. Let's make comics. Hello. Hello. Alright. Thank you, Dee. That should update. I'm sorry about that. I totally forgot to even change that. Right, let's bring you over here. Oh, that's a little bit of a creepy smile. Let's just bring you. Nope. Nope. I feel like her head quite isn't the right shape, and I've exaggerated that a little bit much. So let's bring her in a little bit, and I'm going to take this down a notch and redraw this with a little bit less curvy business down here. Bring it up like that. Possibly not what I want. Definitely not what I want. Let's try again. I like everything to this point. Let's just bring that in a smidgy smidge. And then I need to fix her ear. Aww. Glad you like it. Oops. What? I feel like these eyes are too... There we go. Just a little bit less. There we go. Alright. So we're gonna dump in marshmallows. And I'm gonna have a floof. He'll be like, what are you doing? You're heating up the marshmallows. Right, so let's draw a almost out of my orange. Oh my god. Coconut is almost sleeping face down, but she's turned just a little bit. Almost like that. She's just got a little bit of a turn. See if I can draw this. Little tuck. There. Oh, on the ground. Maybe. This one is sticking out. She's listening. A little tuck in. After an uneducated floof would think it's trash. It's true, but she's gonna show them. Trust the process. Let Granny Bear cook. Because I want this bag is gonna be kind of like that. She's gonna be, her paw is gonna be here and here, and we're gonna have this, and we're gonna have the marshmallows going here. And let's draw her body so I've got this right. It seems all. All right. Well, let's just roll. Let's just roll. That's where counters need to be. I've got a little bit of a discrepancy when she's standing beside a counter and she's got a tall pot. I mean, this is a tall pot, so maybe, okay, I'm just going to say she's standing on something. Maybe she's got a little step. I really have to adjust the heights. Let's draw this bag in here. Let's draw the shocked floof. Make the eyes closer. Is this the right expression? Kind of is the right expression. Hey Phantom! Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Or I could have in my phone. Oh no. Let's have an oh no. Oh no. Alright, I gotta get that. Let's restore that to the right. Or maybe a what? Let's experiment with this. like that one. Oh no, my mallows. Yes, exactly. No. Oh, that's a good one too. That's a good one too, right there. Hold on, let's move this option out. What are you doing? All right, let's fix this over here. That's the edge of the bag, that's her tail. Let's get that fixed and figured out here, because I've got a lot of scribble and not a lot of sense. I think I'm going to change this one to be like protecting two little mallows that he was able to salvage, and like, no, you can't have my mallows. And this one will be like, what's going on? And then they get their little squares and they love them. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect right there. That shock and disbelief that you're melting the marshmallows. Whoops. 9. I've got to make that bigger. All right. Let's give her a little elbow here. And I think I'm going to group this and just operate in the group so I can see better. There we go. All right. So now let's do that's the upper part of the bag, and let's just do a little flip that's going to show the end of it. And then I've got the other side here. And then her paw is over here, kind of shaking it out. And then I've got the underside of the bag here, and I'm just going to silhouette that in. And let's draw some, let's edge, wait, let's... And let's draw some marshmallows flying into the pot. I can draw that marshmallow better. Maybe I can't. There we go. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's just start again. That was not better. There we go. Disappearing on the edge. Marshmallow here. Marshmallow here. Edge of mallow here and here and here. Now I can erase the bottom of this and of this. I feel like that line should be a little thinner, but I don't think I'm going to switch it. All right, out we go, And let's grab that and delete that, and let's start fixing this so we actually can understand what's going on here. I think I need to move that because her arm is over here and her shawl is just going to start there. So I'm going to erase all of this because it's not going to show. And this corner of her, ooh, that's going to be tricky. I think I can get rid of that too. That's the bag. And this is her head, so I can get rid of this. Or not. Madusha, hello, welcome to the stream. Give me just a second. I'm going to finish this little bit of editing. And I'll zoom out and show you guys the comic best way. How did I miss that? Now we don't see her body through the stock pot, so I can erase this. We don't see it through the marshmallows. I can erase it all the way up there. And now we don't see stock pot through the marshmallows. It's good. And I'm just gonna, when in doubt, black it out. Snap that like that. And let's grab this. How do I want what? Oh. Paw is out front. I think what I'm going to do, because this is making a lot of confusing lines, I think what I'm going to do is, let's get back in here. I'm just going to make, no, I wanted to make that, there we go. Open that up a little bit. Hopefully that'll read a little bit better. Okay. Find out here, come back in here, and I think I'm good for that. And let's take out these lines because Boop is sitting on the box. And I think last thing, two little silhouetted. Doing the silhouettes of the burners that are behind these probably will mess with that a little bit, but I just want to not have that area just. Alright. So what I've got here is save. So I'll probably be shutting down. I'll probably do one more and then I'll end the stream there. So I've got my character Granny Bear. She says, I wonder. And she shakes this bag of marshmallows and the floofs appear. She says, oh my, that worked rather well. And they're all excited because floofs love marshmallows. So we come to this frame, this is the start of the baking series. So I've got her melting the marshmallows, and Boop is sitting on the Crispies box, and Floof is going, oh no, you're melting my mallows, what do? And then we have this next one I'm going to work on is she is dumping the finished crispy treats into the pan to cool, and so she can form it in the pan. And the Floofs are a little sus. This one is not going to be excited about his, well, I'm going to see how it looks both ways. So initially I thought it would be that the Floof is excited. He's rescued 2 marshmallows. He's got 2. And so he's holding them up. But I thought maybe that, he's keeping them away from Granny Bear because he doesn't want them melted. And then she cuts up some squares for them, and they're originally a little bit sus. And then the final, this is going to be a seamless swipe on Instagram, so that's why I've got this kind of map of these squares here. They're going to be crunching on the crispy treats and be very excited to have discovered a new thing they love. I've got their kind of expressions here. And did I match that? 1, 2, 3? Yeah, I've got 5 of them in here, so I'll have 5 of them here. And what I do, so I start off everything with a very rough sketch, and then I go over the top of it on a new layer. You can see that right here. This is my sketch layer, so if I hide this, you'll see the sketch disappear. And once I'm finished with a frame, drawing it, or a series rather, I go in lines, working lines. So these 2 are done. I took those out from the back so I could see the clean lines right there. And then once I get these 3 done, I'll scooch those out, and then this last frame will go really quick, and I'll scooch that rough sketch out. And then the color goes in, see, I have these frames each grouped individually, so that makes it easier for me to export at the end. Actually, let me just go ahead and show you a finished file. Let's see again. Where is, yeah, that'll work. Alright, so this was Monday's comic, and you can see this is my color line art final layer, and then here I have my rough sketch where I was planning out the pacing, characters, all that good stuff. And I come in over the top, as you're seeing here, with the lines, and then once everything is colored and done and grouped, I make additional single frame level artboards, and then I export these out separately from these guys. So this is what I consider my 1-page layout, which will be the layout I use in a book, as well as online on my website and for Twitter and Facebook. And then Instagram gets the single panels, and so does TikTok. So that's these right here. And I usually add calls to action at the end. I highlight if I've got a plushie of the character that is in this one, then I'll put her here. This is Coconut's plushie with a little floof. And then I do the shop CTA at the end. Coco needs to be in chat. Mine too. She, if she leads by example, then I should be taking a nap right now, which I don't disagree with. But yeah, so that was a cute one that I keep with. And you can see, oh, another thing. So I found, especially when I have seamless swipe panels, exporting, like, you activate the artboard here. You can probably not see that switch, but like I'm clicking on these artboards. So now this artboard is active. And if I hit this, it brings me to my export. So what I do to get these out and not have to click on these artboards is I use the export as right here. And you can kind of see what I did right here. There's a simple plan. I hit use artboards. I hit range 2 through 7, export, and it brings this up. And I do medium, so that blows it up about double the size of what I got what I have right here. These are 900 by 900, so it ends up to be about 1800, which looks nice and crisp on pretty much everything. And so you've got this right here. You can change it to transparent white or black, and then I hit OK, and it exports everything for me in a snap. And then these I do separately because I have to name this, I add featured, F-E-A-T, just the shortened form at the end of this file name. And I keep this one as the unnumbered version. So it's the base A Simple Plan or webcomic A Simple Plan at the end. So that you can see that's a final. The coloring will probably take a little bit of time for this, but not a lot. Usually flukes color up, especially this panel, maybe it'll take me 5 or so, 10 minutes maybe to color it. These will take longer because there's more detail. I've got to do the effects of the stove top and the heat here, the marshmallows going in, the background won't be that involved, but let's do one more and then I will go have some lunch. Let's just start. Let's just get the basics down. Tilt that. Let's reflect it. Let's see if we can get something that not really. That's not too shabby. Let's bring that together. And then I'll bring my smoothing tool and let's make it pretty or just less. There we go. That'll do. Let's group my crispy treat. Yeah. This pan is really deep for crispy treats. Let's make it a little bit more shallow. So now I've got a lot of room to show. Let's start with, she's gonna have mitts on her hands to hold the hot pot. I'm gonna have a food here. We're gonna have this stuff kind of. Oh, if I have handles here, I'm gonna need handles on the other frame. It's gonna have her paws here and here. That's just a slight adjustment, and I'll have arm, elbow. Okay. Maybe before I forget, come back over here and draw my pot handles in over here. And I'm just going to do quick dirty ones. Just show them on one eye because this other one can be straight across on the other side because I don't want it to interfere with the food right down here. Together. But I think I don't want to have lunch too late, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here, and let's go over to my ending. Oh, actually, let me zoom out. There we go. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be adjusting up here much because that, if you look at the Y and you look at the C, that's a good amount of space, but maybe I'll put Crispy Treats or Crispy Surprise. I might change the title a little bit, but but yeah, so it's not going to be that much longer. I will duplicate, well, I don't know if I'll duplicate this, because I have to redraw it because it'll be cut squares out of there. We'll see. But let me go ahead and go to my ending screen. Oh, and if you want to see how this finishes up, this is my post for tomorrow morning for my comic. I update Tuesdays and Fridays. They get posted on X and Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and our website. And where else? Yeah, that's it. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'm not. I've got Twitter, I've got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah. But yeah, so that will be tomorrow's post, and maybe one of these will be, I think maybe the Oh No frame might be my daily tonight. I might do that one for the daily since it's so cute. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, Wanderlust, D, Catherine, Blue Monkey. Oh, I didn't see you come in, Blue Monkey. Welcome. Sharon, let me see, Madusha, Phantom. Let me see, anybody else? Wanderlust, I mentioned you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will be back on Tuesday with animation. Hopefully we'll be doing a longer stream then. I had a little bit of a schedule crunch, so I was a shorter stream on Tuesday, but we'll be doing a longer one next week. So, but yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time.